Hey everyone, Chris Remmes here from Remmes&Co. And as we cross the halfway point of 2025, I wanted to take a few minutes to talk about where the real estate market stands here in Boston and beyond. It's been an active, dynamic year already, and with everything from interest rate movement to buyer sentiment to inventory changes, there's a lot to unpack. I've been fortunate to be directly involved in a range of transactions across neighborhoods, price points, and property types. And today I want to give you an honest read on what we're seeing. Let's start with the single-family market, because that's where some of the biggest changes have been felt. In Charlestown, I had the opportunity to work on a beautiful property at 58 Baldwin Street, a 4-bedroom colonial with over 3,500 square feet of space. It ultimately closed at $2.1 million after a fairly long 127 days on market. That's a standout example of a property with size, charm, and character, but still needing the right buyer at the right time. What it tells us is that even in top-tier locations, luxury properties are moving more thoughtfully. The demand is still there, but buyers are deliberate and data-driven in a way we haven't seen in years. Compare that to 6 Brighton Street, also in Charlestown, another historic home that came in at a lower price point, just under $1 million. That one closed just over $938,000 after about 3 weeks of activity. It goes to show that when you hit a sweet spot on size, location, and price, deals are still happening efficiently. There's definitely a segment of the market, particularly under $1.50 million, where well-positioned properties are moving with confidence. On the flip side, I was part of a transaction in Milton at 5 Lincoln Street, a classic 3-bedroom colonial. This home went slightly over asking and sold for $1 million in just 22 days. Milton continues to draw attention from Boston buyers looking for space and neighborhood feel while staying within striking distance of the city. We're seeing more and more people make that leap, especially those priced out of Cambridge, JP, or the South End. Communities like Milton, Needham, and Belmont are benefiting from that outward migration. Weymouth and Revere have shown similar resilience. A raised ranch on Marks Road sold for $840,000, while a Cape-style home in Revere closed at $650,000 after less than a month. These sales suggest that while interest rates have put some downward pressure on purchasing power, demand in the $600K to $900K range remains strong, particularly for move-in ready homes. First-time buyers, young families, and downsizers are still showing up. Condominiums, of course, tell a slightly different story. The most premium example I've been involved with this year was 100 Belvedere Street in the Back Bay, over 1,400 square feet, 2 bedrooms, concierge-level building. That unit sold for just under $2.5 million, or about $1,670 per square foot. That kind of price point shows us that Boston's luxury condo market still commands strong value, especially when you're dealing with properties that are turnkey, professionally managed, and in legacy buildings.
Thinking about relocating to Boston? Well, I've got just the thing for you. Me and my team have actually taken the time to create the ultimate relocation guide, which is meant to save you hours of research. I've linked it down below. From top employers to the best hospitals and a boatload of other things that you need to know before you make the move. The best part is that the guide is 100% free. That's right, you heard me, 100% free. Just click the link below in the description or the top pinned comment. Hope that helps.
Buyers at that level are looking for ease, prestige, and long-term stability, and they're getting it. At the more moderate end, there was a 2-bedroom condo on I Street in South Boston that sold for $794,000. Just under 30 days on market. This deal stands out because it reflects the growing appetite for efficient, well-located units with low maintenance. That kind of housing stock is increasingly desirable as people prioritize lifestyle over square footage. There was also a 1-bedroom unit on East India Row in the waterfront area that ultimately sold for $605,000 after nearly 200 days. That kind of extended time on market is more common right now in high-rise buildings, especially those with older interiors or higher condo fees. It's a reminder that buyers are factoring in total cost of ownership, not just price per square foot or views. Then there's North Weymouth, where a mid-rise 1-bedroom unit moved for $430,000. That's a great example of how buyers are looking for lifestyle flexibility, closer to the water, quieter neighborhoods, and still a reasonable commute into the city. Across the board, what I'm seeing is that condition, pricing accuracy, and narrative matter more than ever. Buyers are taking their time. They're reading disclosures, they're walking through multiple times, and they're not afraid to wait if they don't see the value. But when a property tells the right story, the market responds.
Now for the question of the day. What brings you to Boston? The history, charm, a specific industry? Make sure you leave your answer in the comment below. I want to hear what you have to say. Also, if you have any questions or thoughts, you can also leave those in the comments below, or even better, text, call, or email me. My information should pop up on the screen.
On the rental side, I've seen a similar theme of tenants being more calculated. In South Boston, a one-bedroom condo at 45 West 3rd Street rented for $4,200 a month. That's a premium rent, but the finishes, amenities, and location supported it. It took just under a month to lease. In Charlestown, a two-bedroom on Bartlett Street rented for $3,900 in just 4 days. Again, showing that when the space aligns with price and location, demand is still active. In the North End, a two-bedroom apartment on Commercial Street leased at $3,600 after about a month. What's especially interesting here is that tenants in 2025 are behaving a lot more like buyers. They're negotiating, asking about management responsiveness, and prioritizing total cost of living. They want transparency, and they're willing to walk if a place doesn't align. Even in East Boston, a one-bedroom loft-style condo at Porter Street went for $3,400. That unit sat a bit longer, nearly 3 months, which tells us renters are still sensitive to layout, lighting, and building condition, even if the square footage looks strong on paper. And yes, I'm even seeing movement in unconventional assets like parking. I've been handling a garage spot at 170 Tremont Street in Midtown, listed at $350. It's a good reminder that in a dense city like Boston, parking is real estate, and often an anchor amenity for both owners and renters alike. So where are we heading? Rates are still hovering in the mid-6s, and that continues to impact affordability and buyer psychology. But I'm not seeing it stop people who are financially and emotionally ready. I'm seeing strategic decisions, not panic. People are realizing that real estate is long-term. You marry the house and date the rate. You can refinance later, but you can't go back and buy the home you wanted once someone else grabs it. Inventory is still tight in many markets, and new construction hasn't caught up, so we're going to keep seeing multiple offer situations on the right listings, especially under $1 million. At the same time, overpriced or outdated listings are getting passed over. Buyers are savvy. They're using data, leaning on professionals, and staying patient. The big trend of 2025 so far is balance.
Hi guys, it's Chris. As much as I love making these videos, there's one thing that I love more, and that's helping families and people from all over the US make the move here to Boston. I've helped countless families make the move. So whether you're coming out for the week, the next month, or even the next year, don't hesitate to reach out. My contact information is below, right there on the screen, and linked in the description in case you missed it in the on-screen pop-up. I look forward to helping you and your family make the move to Boston.
Buyers are more thoughtful, sellers are getting more realistic, and agents like myself are working harder than ever to create strong positioning and clean transactions that work for both sides. If you're a seller this year, the key is preparation. Staging, pricing, timing, all of it matters. If you're a buyer, align with a team that knows the inventory inside and out. And if you're a renter or investor, take the time to look at your numbers and be honest about your goals. This has been one of the most instructive markets I've worked in. Every deal, whether it was a $430,000 condo in Weymouth or a $2.5 million sale in Back Bay, has reinforced the same truth. People want to feel secure, heard, and smart about their choices. That's what we aim to deliver at Remmes&Co. I'm Chris Remmes. And if you're thinking about making a move in the second half of the year, selling, buying, or just trying to figure out what makes the most sense in this market, I'd love to be your resource. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you out there.